Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yeah, I'm sorry, it is yet another Guinness video, but hear me out. There is a reason, and that reason is because I'm easily influenced by things on the supermarket shelf, but also quite a lot about what other people say to me about beer. At least I have to find out for myself whether they are talking the truth. And in the myriad of things that have gone on in the last 2 weeks surrounding Guinness, the new Guinness Surgery device, the new pint cans, the Brewdog imitation, which I've not tried yet, frankly. But anyway, a lot of people have said to me, Guinness Zero, Tom, actually it's all right. And as I was doing my shopping last week, I clocked this on the shelves and remembered that little thought in the back of my head, which was, Tom, Guinness Zero's pretty good for an alcohol-free beer. And while I'm not big on alcohol-free beers, they do have a time and a place, so I thought, well, let's find out. Is it really any good? And what better time to compare a 0% version of a pre-existing beer than when you've been drinking that pre-existing beer quite a lot over the last week? So let's get into it then. This is, of course, Guinness's 0%. It's a draft can, which I think makes it probably the only draft 0% beer. But here we go. Quick look at the can then. I mean, it's distinctly Guinness, but they've made it stand out quite a bit with that nice blue decal. It's exactly what you'd expect from Guinness. But yeah, looks pretty decent. I am going to pour this in the same way that I pour all Guinness draft cans, which is basically as quickly as possible. Guinness glass, of course, for this one. Lucky tap on the top. Gently release some of those gases. And here we go. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but this is kind of important. Currently, only 29% of people who watch my videos regularly are actually subscribed to this channel. And in order to be able to bring you bigger and better content, that figure needs to get closer to 50%. So please, if you wouldn't mind, just click that subscribe button below the video. It doesn't cost you anything and it would help me a whole bunch. So thank you, and now back to the video. And now we wait. Okay, it has finished settling, and well, it looks like pretty much any other can of draft Guinness. It's not the best pour I've ever had. Maybe felt a bit splashy, the head. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's got a few bubbles in it, but I mean, it's a draft can. There's not a lot you can do about that, really. And, well, yeah, it looks like Guinness. It nearly smells like Guinness. And I mean nearly. It's got some malt roastiness. It's got that minor coffee twang. It's got that kind of lush, clean mineral quality that Guinness has. But a lot of alcohol-free beers have this slightly odd, wet, earthy, I don't really know what it is. It comes across in a few different ways. If you want a good example, the alcohol-free Doom Bar, terrible beer by the way, don't bother, but if you were to have one, it's got this kind of wet potato quality about it, and whilst this does smell like a far cry from that, it's certainly not far off. What I actually think that smell is if you've ever had the luxury of smelling spent malt after it's been used for brewing beer, it has quite a nice but semi-sweet, semi-grainy, earthy, bready. It's quite intense smelling, but it doesn't smell bad. It's just you probably don't want to eat it at the same time. This smells like that, but like it's been sat outdoors for 8 weeks. Well, at least it does in the Doom Bar beer. In this one, there's just a hint of it, so hopefully it'll be all right. Let's give it a go, shall we? Cheers. Okay. I think that has just confirmed my thoughts. It's not a bad alcohol-free beer, but it's not a great one either. It's so difficult. Right, if we're taking it purely on beer terms, that statement stands. But if we're taking it on an alcohol-free beer that's trying to taste like its non-alcohol-free equivalent, then actually it probably is the best of the bunch, and that is a bit of a difficult one. It has that off flavour, and again, it's subtle. A lot of people probably won't pick up on it, And in the flavour of this, actually it tastes a lot more like either fresh or spent malt, to be honest. It's got that almost kind of grain husk note in there. And I'm really torn by this. I think, in reality, if you were sat down having a Sunday lunch in a pub, something like that, and you've got to drive home, which is why you're drinking one of these, having it with some food or whatever, packet of peanuts, you're probably just not going to notice. But sat here analysing it, there is something just a little grainy about it. But let's ignore that for a minute and address all the other elements. I mean, mouthfeel, it's a bit thinner than a normal Guinness draft can that I'd pour at home. But at the same time, I've had worse pub poured pints of the real deal than this one in my hand. So, you know, it can't be that bad. And it's sweet, it's roasty, it's got some bitterness in there, mild, very mild coffee notes. It kind of is Guinness. It is. And as I'm making my way through it, I'm becoming less and less offended and put off by that kind of quintessential alcohol-free note. You know what? They weren't wrong. Guinness 0%. It's not bad at all. Right then, let's take a quick look at this can, see if there's any more information about this beer or anything else we need to know. So, on the front, Guinness, St James's Gate, Dublin, Ireland, draft, alcohol 0.0% vol, alcohol-free stout. However, if I spin this to the side, alcohol-free beer, 440ml can. It then goes on to say it contains not more than alc 0.05% vol. Now, some people will read that and go, well, they said it was 0%, I don't want any alcohol. Yes, but I am led to believe that actually store-bought orange juice has a bit of natural fermentation in it, and that would be more than 0.05%. So it's not going to do you much harm. That's very, very tiny amount. Unless, of course, you are absolutely intolerant to alcohol, in which case, well, you probably wouldn't be looking at this anyway. There's 75 calories in a can. Guinness is already one of the lowest calorie beers out there, and this is even lower. I mean, all alcohol-free beers do tend to be quite low, but that's not bad at all. Interestingly, though, and the ingredients on this, it's water, malted barley, regular barley, roast barley, fructose, natural flavourings, nitrogen and hops. The nitrogen is just for the packaging, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a few more additives in this than regular Guinness just to get it kind of on a level, and considering that, yeah, they really have not done a bad job. And I'll be honest, I've not come across that many alcohol-free beers that I'd definitely seek out versus just having a soft drink. But if I was driving somewhere, the rugby's on, you know, just fancy something a little bit more proper, shall we say, I think I could convince myself that this was a worthy cause. And with that in mind, yeah, it's a thumbs up. It's not bad. It's not free of issues or kind of those funky off flavours that you can get in alcohol-free beer, but they're mild, they're muted, and I think in a real life scenario when you're not analysing it specifically, I don't think you'll really notice. So yeah, all good. And that is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.